Mr. Mark White joining me now. Mark, thank you very, very much. Is Grant Shapps going to keep his job? What's going on? We're on Cabinet Watch.
Well, I think all bets are off, really. The smart money was suggesting that he may well keep his job because there have been so many Home Secretaries here in Marsham Street in recent weeks, and that there was the time was right for a bit of stability. But if you're the new Prime Minister, you want to appoint the very best people for your new government to get things done, then why shouldn't you decide, just because he's been there only a matter of some 5 days, that if you want to move a new Home Secretary in, then you're going to do that. So it may well be that Mr. Shapps, after less than a week in the job, could be on his way out of the door here at Marsham Street. We are at that phase now where we are getting the big offices of state announced. We've had, of course, that confirmation that Jeremy Hunt will stay put for very good reasons, of course, given the economic climate at the moment.
Shapps is on his way in. Mark, sorry to cut you off. Grant Shapps has just walked into Downing Street. I just wanted to bring our nation that. Mark, sorry to interrupt. Carry on, please.
Yeah, so, I mean, that may well be to reconfirm him in his post here at the Home Office, or potentially to offer him another exciting opportunity in another government department. But, of course, we've just been told that Dominic Raab has been made the Justice Secretary. That is a role that he has had before, and Deputy Prime Minister. So Dominic Raab to be Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister, taking up that role he had until fairly recently. So that would obviously now cancel out him as being a replacement for Grant Shapps here. It doesn't necessarily mean that Grant Shapps will definitely stay here, but he has made, understandably, his intentions clear that he has a big job to do here in one of the big offices of state. He wants to get to grips with the control of our borders and to start reducing again the number of people who are coming across on small boats. Key to that for the government, and Rishi Sunak has told us he is wed to this, as Liz Truss before and Boris Johnson before him. Which is the Rwanda policy. They're in a court battle at the moment. Within a few weeks, we should know whether the government's policy on Rwanda is legal or not. If it is, then that can start in earnest, and perhaps that will have the kind of effect they're hoping it will have on the people trafficking model. But for the time being, Dominic Raab, who some people were beginning to tip as moving here to Marsham Street to take over at the Home Office for Grant Shapps, just in office for 5 days. That's not happening now. Dominic Raab will take over that department that he now knows so well, Justice Department, a very important department. Doesn't get the kind of profile that the Home Secretary gets, but you're in charge of the criminal justice system, the courts and the prison system. The criminal justice system, the courts, for instance, Patrick, it's fair to say that they're close to meltdown. There are delays, 400,000 court cases in England and Wales in the Crown Courts and Magistrates Court, that there is a backlog at the moment. A very important job he has to take on.
Mark, thank you very much. Great stuff, that, Mark.